Hey, everybody. Welcome to Open the Gates. I'm your host, Matt Burke. And today we're going to be having on Jimmy Reyes. He's going to be talking about his book, Dragonrage. So if you guys could give a warm welcome to Jimmy.
Hey,
What's up, Jimmy? How you doing?
a warm welcome. I don't think I've had a warm welcome ever.
And
You know?
also, guys, it's warm for you. And it's also, if you guys could give a warm welcome to my co-host, Brian Kreiskow. What up, Brian? How you doing?
What up, Matt? Better now that I'm hanging out with you cool dudes.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. How's the day been going, guys? How you been doing? How was your Patty's Day?
It went pretty well. Patty's Day though, we had some like crazy weather. Like I'm in Texas, so
Oh,
like
snap.
yeah. So Texas, like I'm wearing a beanie, just a regular summer shirt, swim trunks, and cowboy boots right now because you never know the weather. You know.
You gotta be ready, right?
I've heard that about Teja.
Man.
They could like change it on you in a second.
And so it was the day before St. Patty's, right? Wife and I were really excited. It was beautiful, 75 degrees. And we're like, oh, it's a beautiful day. Tomorrow we're going to go out, go hit the park and go, lay out in front of the lake or something. We get up, rain, wind, and it's just freezing. So we were all upset. We're standing there in flip flops with our floaties and beach towels, looking stupid.
St. Patty's, man. It's like the Irish. They came in and
Yeah. Speaking
man.
of the beautiful wife here, this is Anna. Have you guys ever met Anna?
Hello, Anna.
I don't think so. I've seen you guys on stream though. How you doing there? How's it going?
Howdy.
He said, "How are you doing?"
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here with my husband.
Welcome.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome.
I discovered Jimmy. I was back in the day, like probably it's back in the day now. It's probably about 4 years ago, maybe more, maybe less. I was looking for tutorials online about drawing. I came upon you and ZHC, that kid.
Oh yeah,
he blew up. And then Ethan Van Sciver, he was another one. And then I learned about Comicsgate and whatnot, and all this crazy jazz started happening. Boom. I remember you had a video about a printer that you had. It was a Workforce in Epson.
Yeah.
2020. That's the one I got, and I got it from watching your videos.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is badass, dude. So, and I love that desk. You got the glass one. I was like, damn, desk, dude. But I never got it. And then I found out that you ink for Finch, and I love Finch, Bach. Like they're a big influence on me. And so I've known who you are for a while, and I've seen some of your campaigns. But for those who don't know who you are, maybe you could tell the audience a little bit about yourself and who you are, so they know that.
Yeah, I was a kid who grew up very poor in a poor family. I had no idea what art was. I didn't know what comics were. I watched like Ghostbusters here and there at friends' houses, but I mean, dirt poor, And when I was a teenager, my sister adopted me. She was doing really well. She married a man who was doing really well, and I moved up to the Upper East Side, moving on up. Like the Jeffersons. No, we moved to an upper middle class neighborhood, and I got to hang out with kids who had like Super Nintendos, CD players, and one kid that I met, he had comic books. He was really excited about comics, and his mother was a professional artist. And they were all sitting down one day. We were all sitting at the kitchen table. They were drawing, and I was just watching them, and I was just sitting there. And she's like, "Don't you want to try to draw?" And I was like, "Okay." So they handed me a pencil and paper, and I just started drawing, and they look over at me and they go, "Oh my God, I think you could do this professionally. How long have you been doing this?" And I said, "Never." Like I didn't know I could draw, and they were really encouraging. So his mother was a professional artist, so impressed. I spent the night. The following morning, she took me to an art store. I didn't even know they existed.
Oh wow!
She spent in 1990. This was the year 1990. She spent $100 on me.
Dang.
Yeah, and dude, I got my
beautiful.
first art supplies and everything.
Oh wow!
Crazy. But so long story short, I worked really hard. A year later, I broke into comic books. And about a year, I guess I broke in 1992. So I had to start. This had to have been at the end of 1990, I guess, because around 92, I got my first work. And a lot of people are shocked. They're like, "Dude, I can't believe that. Like, you just started drawing, and a year later you broke in." I'm like, "Yeah, but this was also the comic boom era where there were more. It was more work than artists."
Yeah.
So
right.
just the fact that I could draw, I was going to get work. It happened for a lot of us that weren't ready. I think it had that been in today's era, the way I was drawing back then, I don't think I would have really seen much professional work. I wasn't.
That's cool though, man. Like
Yeah.
you came into that era, and like you got to like, I mean, just what you're doing, man. Like, I mean, you're a badass artist, dude, and
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you
getting to
are.
work with Finch, like he's a big influence on me, and I've always loved his work. I think him and Fabok, I think they draw the best Batman. Like if you're gonna go draw Batman, Batman's my favorite character. So yeah, dude, that's the shit, and you're on the same level as they are. So
wow, thank you.
Very
Thanks.
interesting.
Yeah,
I had a quick question, man. What's your favorite metal band?
Man, when it comes to like metal, I go back to the days of like Pantera, that like they were, man, they were awesome, dude. It was so sad, we lost the two brothers Pantera, like, so early on, but I mostly was alternative music. I was more, Pearl Jam and Soundgarden era and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely, dude. Like Soundgarden's definitely like metal in my book. Like I don't know, like even Alice in Chains, like a lot of those bands, I kind of put them under a blanket statement. You know what I mean? Like it's still metal. Like there's also metal. Yeah, and like a lot of bands, like they shift genres, dude. They go from like death metal to like melodic metal, metalcore, alternative metal. I don't know, but I was that people,
Well, when the whole metal scene kind of dried up and got replaced by the alternative scene, like all the only hard music you were hearing was from alternative bands, really.
Yeah.
Especially on the radio.
Now you have those. What is it like? The Japanese band with the girls, something
K-pop?
Baby. No, not K-pop.
Yeah, I heard
Baby
metal.
rock, baby metal.
It's like baby metal.
Baby metal. Now you got baby metal.
Okay.
Yeah, they got those really cute Asian chicks singing the metal stuff and playing that. Yeah, so I tried, I was trying to get back into like what's the current metal. Then I came across like baby metal, and I went, oh, this stuff is so different than my day.
There's so much shit out there, dude. Like every week, like because I my record store Bionic, it's over like kind of Cypress, Huntington Beach area. I'm in California.
Oh yeah,
they're always dropping like, dude. Every Friday, I'm always hitting on Instagram like likes.
Wow.
They actually put my comic book in there. They were cool. Like Homeboy was cool, but you know what I mean. And but every week, dude, there's so much metal coming out, bro. Like every week, like there's just new bands. Like it's just like nonstop, like dope bands. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Same thing with like on side topic, you go on Instagram, there's like an infinite amount of like badass artists,
Yeah.
You can just keep looking on there, you know what I mean?
So much talent.
Yeah, it's a very competitive market now. That's why I do an art stream, and I'll remind people, that whenever they'll ask, wow, are they compliment my work? I'll let them know. I mean, I work hard every day because there are people, like every minute that I'm not drawing, there's a young kid somewhere, maybe in another country now, after the same job I'm after, and he's working hard. You know what I mean? Like he's the Clubber Lane to my Rocky Balboa. You know what I mean? Like he's coming up quick. He's working hard, man. And you can't relax. You just got to keep working,
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And there's like different, some dudes are in some countries that don't even like, they look at comic books as they look down on that, and then they're like, the dude in the country might be like, fuck you, I love comics, and they have to hustle even harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, it's crazy, man. I actually have your campaign up right now. If you like, I could share it if you like.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Just give me a moment real quick.
Yeah, and congratulations also on not only getting funded, but right now, I mean, you're killing it, man. You're almost you're really, really close to 20K.
Yeah, we're almost there. We last night when I went to bed, we were at 18 and a half or something. And I woke up and we were over 19. I went, whoa.
That's what's up.
Hell yeah, man.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So you got a trailer right here. Is it cool if I play it?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm gonna play it real quick.
Dragali. The true Dragon Masters. Humans with the rare ability to capture the rage of the dragons, wielding their powers as their own.
Yeah, that trailer fucking shred rips, bro.
Badass. Badass.
I gotta ask, man, who are some of your influences, bro?
When it comes to artwork,
yeah, I guess art, and then maybe if you want after writing.
The first comic book I ever bought, my friend's mother, who bought me the art supplies, also took us to a comic store, and she bought me my first comics. And the first one I bought was Wildcats #1 that had just come out that week. So I bought that, and then I looked for she offered me to buy me more comics. So I picked Youngblood #1, which had been out for a while, and Wolverine, I think #50. It had like a yellow cover and the claw marks on it.
Oh yeah,
like
the classified one
file or something. Yeah,
that's dope.
And so I got those, and so right away those three were my influences: Rob Liefeld, Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee. I mean, was huge. I started going out and just trying to get everything. I spent whatever little money I had. My sister gave me an allowance. Everything I was spending on Jim Lee, whatever Jim Lee did. So he was the biggest influence for me. But through that, I found other artists. And today, in my current art style, a lot of manga artists, Mark Silvestri, and of course, David Finch. I mean, working with Dave, he was a big influence because I was inking his work directly over his originals. I got very familiar with his style and just talking with him about artwork and techniques. He's definitely been a big influence.
That's awesome, man.
So like the 90s are back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the 90s. That's how I grew up. I mean, I was born in 83. So like I grew up like reading the Max and Spawn and Pit, but the Max was always like I love the Max.
Yeah. Sam Keith is great.
I loved his like panel layout. I like to draw like the Is and the Max and Class, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was always doodling that, Are you a fan of Robert E. Howard at all?
Oh yes, yeah, big Robert E. Howard fan. Yeah, he's a fellow Texan,
Yep.
And
yeah,
Two Gun Bob, as Lovecraft called him. Well, actually, Lovecraft called him Brother Conan. Now that
Brother Conan, yeah. I'm a big fan of his work. I also liked when they adapted his work into the Savage Sword of Conan. Yes. I found Rudy Nebras. I found John Buscema.
Yes.
Ernie Chan. Just, I mean, tons of great,
right?
Yeah, tons of great people, man, worked on that series.
Yeah, man.
And you have like a deep. I'm thinking you have a deep respect for that because you ink traditional most of the time, right, or all the time, right?
I was traditional inker throughout my career, and then when I started drawing my own work, I'm doing digital.
That's cool, man. I've been trying to learn some of that myself, but yeah, that's cool, man. And those guys, they were always black and white, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why I was thinking like you're gonna have a definitive appreciation for that. And
yeah,
that's what turned me into dude. Like
you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, they also have like a big festival there, I think, every year, like a little Robert E. Howard convention. I know that your fellow Texan, Jor Lansdale, is always at that.
They have the house that he lived in. I think they open it up now. It's like a library, and like they have a lot of like, I think it's like a small museum or something.
Right.
Of his work.
Right.
Yeah, I've never been though. I joke when people go, "Oh, you're in Texas. So is your Robert E. It's there. Do you live far from it?" And I go, "What? It's just right down the road." But I'm in a whole nother area.
So big.
Yeah, sometimes people forget that Texas is like so big you could pretty much fit all of Europe in it.
It's
Yeah, you
huge.
fit all of Europe.
Texas is huge, man. I mean, you really, when you're in Texas, we don't walk around places because I mean, just to get from one side of town, you got to be ready to drive.
Just to get to one end of the mall to the other end of the mall, it's like
take a scooter.
take a scooter.
Yeah.
Golf cart.
Yeah.
Exactly, they do. Seriously.
Everything is.
Oh, that's too much.
It's big. Everything's big here in Texas. We're just everything's just spread out. You know.
Nice.
Me and Brian are jelly. I know Brian's jelly. I want to get over there, somewhere like there. Brian, so this piece right here, what do you think of this? What does this remind you of?
Gee, I don't know. Kind of like Savage Sword of Conan, like one of my favorite comic books growing up. Now, see, like Matt knows, I'm a black and white stan.
Yeah, I'm getting there too.
I love me some black and white. Like if I'm at a convention or a comic book store and they're selling the older stuff, the stuff that I'm always looking for are the old Marvel black and white magazines. Savage Sword of Conan, the Planet of the Apes magazine they did, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu.
Oh yeah,
Monsters Among Us. You know,
Rampaging Hulk was another.
Rampaging Hulk. All of those, because you get such a greater appreciation for the art. And I'm one of those guys where, you know, I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, and I'm just a writer. And every comic book writer that is going to be honest with you will tell you the reason we write comics is because we can't draw them. And when I look at the pages I get from the artists I'm working with, they're always so beautiful. I'm like, can we just like print it like this? Like, does this need to be inked and colored and all that stuff? You get a greater appreciation for the hand of the artist. And there's such a difference between, you know, comic book art that's meant to be colored, right? And the stuff that you saw in those old Marvel black and white magazines where you could see all the shading and everything. And, you know, you really saw the pencil work. And I'm crazy about about that sort of stuff. And clearly so are you.
I grew up in the age where artists were always saying, you know, you shouldn't be dependent on colors to finish the art, you know.
Oh yeah.
It should stand on its own in black and white. So I still believe that. You know, I love using digital color to enhance it, but it's got to stand on its own.
And he's an inker professional, so you know the inks are going to be really, really good. Like, look at this. He's gonna shade. He's gonna throw some shade. He's gonna do
some nice line weights.
Real line work. Really good, like enhance.
So
it's gorgeous, dude. It's gorgeous work. It's just beautiful, man. You know, and I'm such a sucker for high fantasy. And it's so encouraging to see that high fantasy is really coming back, at least in our scene. There are quite a few high fantasy books.
I love it.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, it's the genre that's expanding right now. Is fantasy. Fantasy is coming in right now, and pretty much any platform. You know, video games, movies. It's all coming back right now. And so when I first heard that fantasy was coming back in like 2019. I want to get in on the game, get ahead of the, of the boom or whatever, and started putting together Dragonrage. And I did I did Indiegogo crowdfunding and released the book in 2020. And then there was an anime that was kind of similar, not really that similar, but it had one element in it that was similar to my book, and it really bothered me. So when I came in as CG, I decided, it'd be a good time to revamp and start the story over. And I can take out the stuff that had been used in an anime and try to make it, nothing's really unique, but I want it to feel, very unique. And I don't want any of the influences to be obvious,
Right. You don't want it to be too derivative. You don't want to give people something where like, oh, this is taken from this and this is taken from that. Oh, this is like from Michael Moorcock. Oh, this is from Robert E. Howard, so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to add some things that I thought would be newer, but at the same time, I want to draw the things that I love.
Well, you want to draw, right?
Yeah.
We can see that you love that. And I think when, you put that on the page, people fucking respond to it because they can see that you love this and they love your craft. You know what I mean? And you're a pro. And I was also wondering, man, in your words, I mean, we saw the trailer, but can you tell us a little bit, maybe like a synopsis of Dragonrage?
Yeah, Dragonrage is primarily, it's a story of a small group of humans that have the rare ability to they're able to take the rage of a dragon. They can, after they kill after they kill the dragon, they can take the rage of a dragon and take on the powers of the dragon and wield those powers as if it was their own power. So think of them like Jedi. Like there's only certain amount of Jedis that are force sensitive. There's only a certain amount of humans that can actually take the rage of a dragon, where not every human can withstand that. I mean, the rage is just, it's the most destructive force in the world of Dragonrage on the planet. It's just very powerful. So the book, the story of the book is that years ago, and in the old story of in the history of Dragonrage, is that dragons and humans were at peace at one time. Dragons were the guardians over humans, and the dragons at that point would willingly, when they were going to expire, would willingly bond with a human, and they created a race called the Dragari. And so the Dragari is like our Jedi. So there was a king who saw that, hey, I could have an army of men in armor and whatever, but they're still not as powerful as just 2 Dragari. But if I had a whole army of Dragari, then I'd be the most powerful king in the world. So he starts getting the Dragari to hunt down and kill the dragons to make more Dragari. And so the dragons, when Dragonrage starts, they're near extinction. Pretty much dragons haven't been seen for a while. Everyone pretty much believes that the dragons are all gone.
That's awesome, dude. I could totally get into that. I love the whole concept behind that, dude. It's totally badass.
Yeah, and there's a lot of politics in Dragonrage. There's also betrayal. There's sabotage. It's a really good story. The other thing too about Dragonrage is that now that the dragons are all gone, as far as anybody knows, they've killed off all the dragons. The only Dragonrage left are the stones that are that the Dragari wield in their weapons. So now somebody is hunting and killing them for their Dragonrage, because they're constructing a crown to rule over all of the dragons and any Dragari. They want to master them all. So they're building this crown, and it's called the Crown of Fire. So we learned that there's still one dragon left. It's the King of Dragons. He's the guy that's been hiding. He's the one that they just can't kill and control him, because he's the king. And so there's someone else that's after the Crown of Fire. So you find these two are going at it, trying to get the Crown of Fire before they can't let the other one have it. And they each have their own agendas and reasons why they want to get this Crown of Fire.
I'm seeing Jimmy draw this, and it's such a feast for the eyes. It's just so much detail, and it's just so beautiful. I love it.
That's awesome.
It's really, really gorgeous work.
Yeah, thanks. I can't wait to read it, man. I'm gonna eventually get it. It looks sick, dude. I love the whole concept, and it sounds like you did a lot of lore building. Some time in there, and people love that. Have you ever? I don't know if you did, but have you ever thought about maybe putting out a map for the one of your campaigns someday?
I have. I'm actually we're working on that. We've also had an offer. Someone wants to make a D&D campaign out of it, so we're working on that. That's been in the works now for almost a year. So, but for Dragonrage, I'm not the writer. I partnered with David Philpott. He's the writer, and
nice.
Man, his work is just amazing. Like this guy's gonna blow up when people get their hands on Dragonrage and see what Dave Philpott can do.
That's awesome, dude.
I'm going to take a back seat. I know, because I know that, I mean, my work, I'm really grateful that it's catching the eye of, for the audience. They're going, oh, this looks neat. But once they read it, I think that's what's really going to hook them is Dave's writing, is the story.
Well, I always feel that the artist is about 5% more important, at least, than the writer. Because if somebody picks up a book, right, and they look at it, and the art makes them go, ugh, it's going back on the shelf.
They're not even going to get to read it. Yeah,
they're not even going to get to read it. You're right.
Yeah.
So it's like you need that great art to get people in through the door. And then the great writing keeps them coming back, along, of course, with the gorgeous art. Too.
Well, the audience is like your comic convention booth girl. The girl in the booty shorts, and when we go to conventions, we have one coming up next weekend. And when we go to conventions, this is my booty short girl. She'll wear the booty shorts, stand at the booth, and it's so funny because the only group that comes up. We get two different type of groups. Like there will be a group of kids that all just come to me and they'll just start asking me about my drawing. And then we get the older gentlemen will walk over to her and they're just talking to her. They don't even pay attention to me. And then we get the lesbian women. They're all over there talking with her and they never even acknowledge me at my table. And so it's, but we bring people in and people buy stuff from the booth. So.
And you want your table to look busy. People always want to be at the busy table.
Yeah.
It definitely helps, having art and having a girl in booty shorts. I see why they do it,
and then people complain. I'm just like, well, that's sexist. I'm like, well, then have like booth boys too.
Yeah, if you want a booth boy at your table, go for it. I got no problem with that. Yeah, you guys want to do,
Yeah,
exactly.
Guys like their cheesecake, I want to have their beefcake. That's cool.
Yeah,
right. I'll play this dude right here, man. Get some dude over there. Some swole up, like, I don't know, cowboy dude. You cool to go over some of the tiers real quick?
Yeah. In the updates, there's some new artwork. I finished some artwork and we put it in there.
Let me jump in there real quick.
That's always an exciting part of a campaign for me is when you get to post new artwork, right? And then your backers get to see in the update, like, hey, check it out. Like, your comic is on its way. Oh my God,
who's that?
Oh, beautiful.
That's a new character. I haven't seen that character yet.
Yeah, so what happens with the rage? I don't know if you can hit Control Plus on your keyboard to zoom in on the webpage, or Command Plus if you're a Mac. Yeah, like that. And then so this guy is actually the guy that you said, oh, looks like Savage Sword of Conan or Robert E. Howard, the guy that was standing on the ledge. So what happens is as they conquer a dragon and they take the rage of the dragon, it depends on how powerful the dragon is that you've conquered. So if you've gotten one of the oldest dragons and they're very powerful, then there's more rage available to you to consume. You can take on more. Then it also depends on the level of discipline of the Dragari. So what can happen is this guy takes on the dragon rage, takes on dragon-like features, gets the scales, gets stronger. He's got his sword becomes his fire. That's his dragon fire, and they're faster. And so then he goes to try to battle a dragon. If you see on the bottom panel, like he tries to go to battle a dragon right before this page, he actually tries to battle this dragon, and he just he has no chance of beating this dragon. So he tries to take on and level up more, take on more of the rage from his sword, and become more dragon-like. But the problem is that they're human. They can only handle so much. If they push it too far, they become something, they become less human, more rage, more evil, and they become kind of like a Sith Lord kind of thing.
Oh, snap.
And their features power up and they change. So he had these tiny little horns, and then when he powers up, it just goes massive and it shows the rage. His sword gets more crackly, it's not like just a lighter flame. It's raging, with power and energy and all this, energy. I'm just using all this energy all around him to show that, he's bringing in that rage. And
really see the movement.
He manifests wings out. He looks more dragon-like, bigger spikes,
Like I'm really feeling this, dude. Like, because this looks like something that I've been into a lot. It's a video game, a character I like, and like this the style, like dude. So far, I mean, I love a lot of the characters on your campaign, but dude, this guy, he's like my favorit so far. I ain't gonna lie, dude.
This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. If I'm the writer and I get this, I'm like, can we just leave it like this? It's so beautiful, man.
Thanks. Yeah, once I go in with the inks, I'll be able to add a lot more texture and a lot more layer to it. I mean, this is just loose pencils. And
it's dope, dude. Like even the pencils is dope. Like I mean, like I love colors too, but like again, like not now, like the older I get, I'm just finding more and more appreciation in the inks and in the pencils.
Oh yeah.
But I love them both. I love all, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, dude.
Kid, I remember like there were certain, like the way you started noticing inkers was when they weren't there, right?
Yeah.
Like Frank Miller's work when Klaus Janson was inking, there was just something special there. Or John Byrne, for instance, when Terry Austin wasn't inking his work, it just wasn't the same.
Yep. Yeah, Terry Austin's incredible. I especially, Terry Austin, John Byrne. That is a great partnership there. Yeah,
Team Supreme.
Great example.
Yeah, that's sick, man. I'm loving that, man. That's totally awesome.
Yeah, and so this is the part where they roll up on, you know, they're sent out to see if they can find any dragons. You know, they were sent out by a king, one of the kings.
Scouts?
Yeah, they were like supposed to go scout and see if there's any dragons, and they were about to give up, and they come to a chasm, and they see down below this gigantic dragon. They have no idea who he is, and then he reveals who he is. And if you scroll down just a little more, that you'll see the expression on their face, just because it's a name that is just legend, and no one has seen for years, and they're like, just shocked. You know, yeah. So they know that really they've got no chance up against this guy. You know,
and like again, your art, dude, it totally reminds me of like the old school Conan, like Savage Sword, like even right here, like in the faces and the expression, but also like kind of brought up to date a little bit as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, Jimmy's
the marriage of both worlds, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't look like something that's from the 70s. It looks like something that's inspired by the 70s, but then it's got that 90s flair to it too. And then you're combining like the 70s style with the 90s, and you get something new.
And I'm using modern technology, so I'm hoping that it'll bring it up just a little more modern, just because of the fact of the type of tools that I'm using. Yeah. And I am heavily inspired by manga. So
manga's dope.
Yeah. I love, you know, tons of the manga that's out there. I love the high energy that they have. I mean, even the old manga like Blade of the Immortal, like that was the early stuff. Berserk, you know.
That's what I like too. Vampire Hunter D, Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Fist of the North Star.
Old shit, like that's like I really like that. But I love the way they do action, bro. Like the action, the angles, perspectives, like the energy, you know.
Oh yeah,
the ferocity.
Like the dynamism. Like that artist is very dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the best word I could find for it.
Yeah, they'll you know, they'll force perspective or exaggerate certain things, but it's exciting and it brings the energy into the artwork. And I'm trying to do that, you know, also borrowing a lot of their textures and things, just to try to modernize, you know, I love the 90s and I really appreciate it. I love the 70s, you know, art style, and I really appreciate it, but I want to bring it to a new audience. Right. You know, so I want to blend in a little bit of some of the modern things that kids are reading today, you know, and
definitely do.
Especially in the like a page layout that they're a little more familiar with, you know, with the way that manga kind of lays stuff out. Yeah.
You ever think about putting out a black and white edition?
I for the first one I did, and the only people that bought it were artists, you know, so it was a small handful of people that bought it, but I didn't include it in this one, but it's like when I don't include it, I could have sold more. Like people are asking for it now because it's not available.
Right. Right.
But
is that funny how that works?
Yeah. It was crazy, you know, and it was, I offered 2 Dave Finch covers. I said, hey, I got 2 Dave Finch covers, and I put one into a really high tier because I wanted, you know, if you're going to pay that much money for a tier, you want to get something special. Yeah. And because it was hidden in this higher tier, well, that's the cover everybody wants that couldn't afford the tier. And I said, well, I made another one available at the same price as the rest of the other tiers. And people are like, no, we want that one. I'm like, but I bet if I had flipped them, it would have still been the same thing, you know. Right. So the one thing like the bigger campaigners tell me is you can never please everybody. So just
you can't, dude.
Try to do your best and just go with it, you know.
And you're doing good, and the campaign looks beautiful, and yeah, man, like it's you're doing your own take. You're carving your own path with this fantasy sword and sorcery book.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get bigger and bigger each campaign you do. You have a Give Me Everything Plus tier right here. Is your future tier?
Yeah, this is I created a Give Me Everything tier, and then I added in the David Finch cover, which was only available as an add-on. And then I had a guy said, man, I want to buy everything, but I want it all in one tier. Can you custom make a tier for me? Because if he adds it on, he was showing me, if I add it on, I said, well, it can be, put as an add-on. He said, well, if I add it on, it also adds on extra shipping. So I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. So, yeah, I'll make you your custom tier. And I made this tier just for him. And then people kept asking for what he got. And I said, whoa, okay. I didn't know other people want that. So I made it available. And then like 10 other people came in and backed that same tier.
Justified tier right there, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, it's got everything. It's got, so what I have is I have 3 regular covers. And in this campaign, there's 1 hidden cover. So like if you play Dungeons and Dragons or RPGs or MMO video games, there's always like hidden items you have to find, discover throughout your quest.
Yeah.
So I put in a hidden cover, didn't tell anybody. And as people were, in order to unlock it, you have to back something. You back anything and then bam, you get access to this cover. And people were going, what is this? Like, why am I seeing a cover on the way out? They didn't really quite get it. And I said, oh man, it's like a hidden quest item. You found the gem, And so you have the option to buy it. And people are like, oh my God, I didn't know. Now I got to go back and try to get it and buy it. They're like, can we just, and so what I did was I put the image in the, on the front. And I said, okay, here's a hidden cover right here. You just got to figure out how to unlock it basically.
That's dope, dude.
Yeah. So
you're keeping them you're keeping them on your campaign page, right?
Exactly.
And you're creating a buzz on that,
You're
anytime they're talking about it.
Right. You're keeping them engaged.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's definitely key, because I think that that's why we live stream. We interact. We keep our audience engaged, keep them interested in whatever it is that we're doing. So I want to do that throughout the campaign. So I also do updates. I do newsletters, send out newsletters and things like that, or answer questions whenever somebody has an inquiry or something.
Hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty smart, dude.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. And then I have 2. So then I have the 3 regular covers. I also have that hidden cover, and then I have the 2 David Finch covers, and 2 posters. So you get all that in the Everything Plus, in that tier. So you get a lot of items, and you're saving about half of what you would have spent on shipping if you were to try to get each item. So you're just saving an enormous amount, and having it all in one tier, I see why people ask for that. It does save them a lot of money. And
it's a collectible. Like people don't understand about these like campaigns. They're short run campaigns. People are going to look back now, like 15 years from now, and they're going to realize, dang, dude, all those books that came out when the mainstream like kind of were dropping the ball. There was a lot of indie stuff and Indiegogo and Kickstarter and Zoop and people running their independent comic books online. They're putting out a lot of quality content, and I didn't get in on it, and so now I want to, and it speaks of the time. They're time capsules of what was going on and what in people's psyche and all this stuff that's been going on in the world. We're putting out art, and through story and through this media, and so these are all collector's items. People need to know that, and they're short run. Even like with Brian, he's going to get his book sold in Barnes and Noble and
nice,
pretty soon and Walmart, and he's been grinding forever. You know what I mean? And now they're gonna go back and see these, and they're gonna know like that's where it started.
Yeah, and the people that hop on now are gonna know like, hey, I was there day one. And then also like the books that they're getting from me, those aren't going to be the exact same books that are going to be at Barnes and Noble and Walmart.
Yeah, especially if you have extra perks like there's posters, stickers, and extra things. And then the thing, and like to put it in perspective, it's that if you go in a comic store, mainstream will kind of sometimes we'll have mainstream professionals will tease some of us independent guys, and they'll go, well, my book sold 150,000 copies through Diamond. Through comic stores, and how much did you sell? I'm like, well, I've got 311 backers, but if you put it in perspective, you realize I got 4 different covers or 5 different covers. Some of my covers are going to have like 25 print run, 75 print run. If I stay with only 311 backers, imagine how rare that is. If this is an IP that becomes the next Ninja Turtles or the next Dungeons and Dragons or something, people are gonna look back and go, oh my God, how did you get that? It's gonna be so rare for those that backed it.
And how many readers do you got coming back? I mean, you got cover buyers coming back that are like not reading comics, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you want people coming back to read the book, dude, and people are coming back to read the book. That's that's people are loving your world, dude. You know what I mean? A lot of those dudes, it's a separate industry. It's just comic book cover buying for variants,
Yeah, or they're buying just for the IP to like finish off a storyline, or something in the mainstream,
Well, I mean, you kind of have like 3 different types of comic book buyers, right? You have people like me who are just readers, right? Where when I was buying back issues back in the day, the reason I was not buying the reason I was buying the back issues was because I wanted to read the stories, right? And because I wanted to have the full story or the full run of whatever, right? And then you have the people who are speculators, they're buying comics as an investment, whatever. And then you have the people that are a little bit of both, where they love comic books, but then they love having, the originals and collectibles. And
or people like me that just bought for the art.
Yeah. Yep, that's how I was back in the day. A long time. I didn't start reading comic books until I was 20. But I bought a gang of them because I was just about the art, the art.
Well, I mean, I think that's one of the things that is encouraging about the current manga fad, if that's what it is. And I don't think it is a fad. I think that this is going to be something that's going to stick around. Hopefully, those people, it's like, okay, we're all bummed out because it's like they're completely ignoring American comics. I've got 3 LCSs in my area. 2 of them don't sell comics at all. Another one sells manga. And then all the way in the back, there's a very anemic little section of American comics, and they're all mixed up, and nobody goes there. There's like cockroaches and cobwebs, dead bodies and shit.
That's the same, the same thing at the comic store that's near us, because we live up in the hill country, so we're just right outside of the city. But if I just drive like 2 miles down the road, there's a comic store there in the city, and so. They have the same thing. Like when we go, it's like manga shelves, and then on the far back, and it's mostly tabletop games. But in the far back, there's this little area of comic books where they don't sell any back issues. There are no back issues at all. It's just new stuff, and you have to pretty much special order anything that you want.
Everything. Right. My store, like the only way he survived was he put the big 2 on the bottom 2 shelves for the last 2 years, right? And on the top 2 shelves every week is indie books. And then he expanded his manga set, his pop set, and then his toy set for like, Sideshow and, Marvel Signature. But that's how he did it, dude. He put all the mainstream on the bottom and the indie on top, and they always outsell. His indie set outsells his mainstream big 2 set.
Yeah, same thing at this store. When I go in there, like I see like Dynamite up top. They got like Vampirella. I see a bunch of like independent stuff, things that from those people that are doing what are those guys with Vault Comics and stuff like that. I see just books from them. But yeah, Marvel DC is at the bottom, and I just go, wow, I've never seen that.
It's unbelievable. But crazy. It does the hopeful part is that, let's face it, nobody would be reading those comics anyway. It's not like manga's stealing the audience, right?
It's just business, business, and that's the way to do it. And when I hear like things what Jimmy's saying, because a lot of times I'm hearing stuff what Brian's is saying. Brian, what do you say about your LCS?
Well, they don't sell comic books. It's depressing. I walk into that place, and I used to take my leftovers from conventions and that sort of thing, go into one of the LCSs and be like, hey, you want to have comics from like a local creator? They'd be like, sure, right? And now it's just like they all they're selling is like Funko Pops and manga stuff, or not even manga. There's only one of the LCSs that even sells manga. Everything else is just like toys.
It's toys, no comic books, right?
And maybe like Warhammer 40K and that sort of a thing. But it's dispiriting, but at the same time, I actually do find the manga craze a good sign, because it means that there's a generation coming up now who know how to read comics.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because
100%.
the thing with comic books is if you come in late, that is age-wise, I know people that if you give them a comic book, they'll pick it up and they don't know where their eye is supposed to go. Like they literally don't know how to read a comic. Now these people know how to read a comic backwards, basically, right? Compared to an American comic. And at first they're going to be like, wait a second, why is this whole thing, like, this is a comic book, why is it backwards? Right? Yeah. But most of those people, they're going to stick with manga because it's what they know and because it's Japanese, and so that makes it cool, right? But there's also going to be a substantial portion, even if it's a fraction of that audience, it's still going to be a substantial group of people that are going to be like, hey, what about American comics? What about French comics?
Yep.
Right?
French. Yep.
Oh, I love European comics. You know,
they're the best.
That's like,
I follow so many European artists and comic books, but I think, like, for me, my interest was, you know, I want to win over an audience from the bigger market right now. The bigger market right now is, you know, the gaming world and manga. So how do I get their interest, you know, in this? And I knew right away, well, for one, scratch off superhero. They're not interested in superhero. Mangas aren't superhero comics. They're not superhero genre. Tabletop gaming and all that stuff. It's fantasy, you know? So I knew I had to go somewhere fantasy. And what appeals to the manga audience is the personalities of characters.
Right.
You know, they like the interaction between characters, the relationships between characters, because there's never just one single character. You know, even in Dragon Ball or One Piece or anything, but there's a lot of great supporting characters in the way they interact. So I knew we have to have all that and mix that together, and that's what we did in Dragonrage.
That's sick, dude. It looks like you're doing a great job, and
thanks.
It's cool if we look at a couple more of the tiers right here.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You got cover A right here, 25. It's like standard cover A. That's by you, and
100 claims so far on that.
Hell yeah, dude.
So it's not bad. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. You got the cover B right here.
Yeah, CG always likes. There's a group in CG backers that like a very sultry or sexy cover. So you know you got to throw that in there, especially when it's fantasy.
Might have to do that for my book.
Oh my God!
All women.
Don't you see? Now I'm triggered. Jimmy, don't you realize that fantasy art is supposed to be an accurate representation of reality?
Right? Yeah.
Did you not get that memo?
Yeah.
Did you not get that memo?
Yeah,
I'm seeing two boobs. We have the uniboob.
Yeah, they gotta, you gotta be flat chested, right, and frumpy chicks. That's what people want.
Yeah, man.
No, but in this book, it's very, very masculine male characters, and male characters that dudes and guys we can look up to. You know what I mean? It's the badass dudes that we all want to be, aspire to be, and then the sexy, beautiful women, and there are women out there that aspire and admire sexy, beautiful women.
Oh, I mean, they need heroes too.
Yeah.
Right. And they need, fantasy figures that they can kind of identify and daydream of being. Right. It's like you look at some of the Robert E. Howard Conan characters, like Conan, for instance. Conan's the guy that every man wishes he was, like, power secretly. Fantasy. Yeah. You're never going to be that guy, but you love reading about him because you just, it's a guy that you wish you were.
They got their Sonya and whatnot.
And Red Sonja. Yeah, I mean, as much as I have a beef with Gail Simone, I love the fact that she didn't get rid of the chainmail bikini. And she said, fuck it, I like the chainmail bikini.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, why can't the heroines be sexy?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone, aspires to be sexy. Everybody wants to be as attractive as we can, and I think by putting the imagery up there and saying, oh, this is what beauty is, and showing somebody frumpy or heavy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't going to inspire, isn't going to motivate people to push to be more,
Well, that's why people aren't buying the crap. I mean, I said right from the beginning when comics started getting woke and lame, I was like, guess what? You're going to lose the old fans and you're not going to get any new ones.
Yeah.
Because the people that are on Twitter demanding this, they're not going to show up and buy it.
No, they don't buy it. They take pictures at the stores and then they leave like Facts.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Well,
They don't even buy the books.
they're really, and if they do buy it, it's just like one title during the whole hype of it all. But you know what I mean? They're not fans at all. They're not buying
Not
it.
at all. They were
they're
never part of
listening
the
to the wrong.
fandom.
Yeah, exactly. Not part of the fandom. So they're listening to the wrong demographic. You know, and ignoring their fans. You know, and then they never stick to the core. You know, the whole, you know, the core concept of the idea. You know, of they want to change everything.
Oh yeah, they can't create. They want to just, you know, destruct and reconform in their own narrative.
Yeah.
You got a wraparound cover?
Yes. Yeah, I created a wraparound. But if you go back to the story page, that little story tab where right next to the updates, it'll show bigger images of this. And so I have that one right there. It's cover. That's the wraparound cover.
Nice.
So I thought it'd be kind of cool to give everybody an idea of like this isn't the only Dragari, but these are the Dragaris that we start off with, that we focus on. And I wanted to get them all together in one image, you know, kind of like an old George Perez or Jim Lee style of poster.
Yeah, that's fucking metal, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, it is.
You got the David Finch fire cover, huh?
Yeah, that's our character named Thrago. He's kind of the poster boy of Dragonrage, and he's a Dragari he's very, very skilled, very powerful. He was at one time he was the like the king's guard, and he since then he's civilian. He's just kind of living his life, wanting a party. But in Dragonrage, there are a yin and a yang. There is an opposite for every character in here. So if there's a Darth Vader per se in my book, there's an Obi-Wan, you know, in my book. So for him, if you scroll back up, his name is Thrago. He's a very skilled fighter, but right there you'll see a guy with red hair and his arms crossed with a golden.
Yeah, that dude looks dope.
Yeah, so he's even much more skilled as a swordsman, and that's the opposite. That's going to go against Thrago.
Oh, that's sick, dude. Yeah,
So
I like it when they got the horns coming up over their like hairline.
Yeah.
And
then the thing too is I want to make a David and Goliath story. You know, you always want the underdog. You know, you want your superheroes and the good to be, you know, at a disadvantage when it comes to the battle that they've got to go. How are they going to overcome this greater evil? You know.
Yeah, you don't want them too OP, right? You always
it can't be too.
The kids. That's too OP, man. Like I'd come up with a character and it'd be like, that's too OP, man.
Yeah. That's I played a lot of fighting games on PlayStation, so they're always like, they're gonna nerf that character, man. He's too OP. Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, you never want your hero to be stronger than your villain.
No, really, right? It's not relatable. You know, it's not relatable.
It's not.
The challenges we have in real life often seem very great, and it seems like, you know, it's going to be a struggle, or even it's that we have no chance of overcoming these obstacles, when really we do, but it's just, you know, it just may not look like it. It's hard to discover, and part of growth is that struggle. You know, that resistance and stuff will make you stronger in life. You know, we learn a lot, and so I want that in my characters in the story. I want them to grow and to struggle. You know, to become stronger.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that your characters actually have to work at like becoming better? They're not just naturally awesome.
Yeah, I'm female and I'm all powerful. I'm gonna fix the world. You know, there's none of that in Dragonrage.
It's a little bit total non sequitur, but I had a friend of mine at work that like came over and showed me a copy of Shuri #1. Right? It was like, here, check, like, what do you think of this? And it was, you know, on like page 1, you see her flying through the air with a big smile on her face, saying, "I'm awesome."
Oh, dude.
Oh, are you serious? Oh, God, I have not read that. But,
dude, America Chavez #1. I gave that to a friend of mine to read, and he didn't know that. Like, he thought it was a satire.
Oh, man,
because there's a cringe. If you haven't read that.
Is that the one where she was fighting and had like so much dialogue in the fight scene? Is that the one where she was? Oh, God.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if you haven't read that, get a copy, because I'm sure you could get one for like in the like 25-cent bin.
Oh,
get that, read it. There's a cringe on every page.
Oh my God,
cringe-tastic.
Yeah,
God, maybe I'll get that and just to make a video and just like laugh at all the dialogue.
I'm serious. I'm so not kidding when I say that.
God,
Yeah.
how could somebody write that and go, yeah, this is good?
I know.
They don't even care, dude.
They don't even care. That's exactly it, because these people are not from comic books, right?
No.
They got all these are people that they found on Twitter.
Oh,
and then the artists are people that they found on Tumblr.
Oh yeah, just
it's a joke, dude.
It's a joke.
No one's laughing that reads it, you know.
Yeah, these are comics for like an audience of like 0
that nobody's reading.
Oh yeah, obviously they should be aware of that now when they saw the book flopped. I mean, nobody.
Well, they don't care. They don't care because now the comics are just marketing materials for the movies and the Funko Pops.
Yeah.
100%. You got a deluxe art print right here, 11 by 17. That's like the original art size for comic books.
Yeah, because I draw digital. A lot of people are saying that they like my work. They would like an original. And I said, well, I didn't realize. I didn't think anybody was going to buy my work.
Oh yeah.
I did.
Yeah, they did. Oh man, dude, that's the thing. People love original art.
Love that shit.
Yeah, so people are kind of just confused at what the deluxe art print was, and what it is that it's actually printed on 11 by 17 Strathmore Bristol board, the exact same artboard I would have drawn on. So it's printed on there, and it looks, feels, and until people even smells like original art. Like you won't be able to tell the difference, other than I'm going to actually physically art print on it so that it can't be sold as an original, because it's going to look exactly like an original piece of art.
Oh wow,
that's pretty dope.
That is.
Yeah. So yeah, somebody went in and backed it. Actually, I think I don't know if it was my first backer that came in and bought it. Somebody came in and got it, saw it and said, yeah, I want it, but most people are asking about it. Like, what is it?
Cool when you get that board, dude, that 11 by 17 Bristol, it's just different. It's not the same as a poster. It's not the same as a print. There's just something to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's good quality paper that you can actually frame and print and frame it and hang it on the wall. It's so somebody who really appreciates art and collects art is the one that backed it. So.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even know that you could do that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't even know that technology even existed.
Dude, Jimmy's got videos about printing blue line and then inking over it, right? I've seen your videos from back in the day. I think you were doing like a Wolverine one or something. Like it was pretty dope.
Yeah. Before I really started working with Dave Finch, before that, I love original art from everybody, but I never could really get access to it, and I couldn't afford it. So I would take high-res images, and then I learned how to print them, get them printed on Bristol board, and then I'd frame them and hang them on my wall, and people would walk in and go, oh, you got the original to whatever, and I go, dude, that's like a $20,000 original. look at my apartment, I mean, back then, now I'm very grateful where I'm at now, but so I didn't have any of that stuff. So I learned to do that. And so I look back at this and I said, hey, how could I make artwork affordable to people? Because I do have an original piece of art in the campaign, but I mean, it's David Finch, so it's not under $1,000,
Yeah.
So where you going to find a David Finch cover for under $1,000,
Crazy.
So
and it's a sick piece too. Like, man.
Yeah. I've been very fortunate. I've gotten to work over Dave. We would split some of the art, and I've gotten a lot of Dave Finch originals since then, and been able to trade them and stuff for other artwork, and so now I have a really neat little collection of original art from different people. But
it's sick.
Yeah, it's a very niche market, and it's very, very expensive market to get into.
Damn. Yeah. That's pretty dope. You got 4 covers, A, B, C, and a wraparound for 100 bones.
Yeah, the C cover is that hidden cover. So you get the 3 covers and the hidden cover in that.
14 claimed. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, because like in video games, you can always get that cheat code, and you're like, I don't want to dig for that,
right?
Hidden gem. I just want the cheat code. So there it is. If you just want to pay and get it, there it is. You don't have to find that hidden cover.
Sweet. You got the all-in, give me everything for 155.
Yeah,
that's dope.
It's only missing the David Finch fire cover, but it's got everything else other than the fire cover.
Then you got the original comic art right here, 1500.
The only artwork in traditional art printed in this first issue. So this would be whoever gets it is going to have the only traditional art that was offered in Dragonrage.
That's crazy, man. Like I was thinking too, like for artists, you know, like say they're going full digital, right? And like sometimes artists do like they'll pick like a couple random pages on their book that they can do traditional, and they'll put them up on the campaign. But for me, like I would think that like, damn, dude, it's got to be something like it's got to be the cover, back cover, and maybe the splash or like something like the title, the chapter title card, you know, in the middle of the book. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it's got to be a significant thing in the book. Or if I'm doing like, let's say a set of character trading cards, then I could do those all traditional. You know what I mean? It's kind of a hard thing to do because people want traditional art, whether it be pencils or inks. You know, like if you're a kind of sought after artist, you know what I mean, on your campaign.
Yeah, people have been asking me so much for the original art throughout this campaign. So I think next issue I'm going to do my covers traditionally. I mean, because I've done traditional art for
forever, huh?
Yeah, for like 30 years. So
dude, you got to because you can sell it, right? And people want that original art, especially if they can put it on their wall.
Oh yeah. Especially, I didn't realize how well my art sold until I got on Ethan's auctions. I started offering my artwork, and I'm like, oh my god, like people are asking for my art. And then I did every Sunday. So tomorrow, every Sunday on my channel, I do an art stream where I take a CG character, like any of your characters. If you guys have characters, I have a little Twitter post where you can post your characters, so I can pick characters every week and draw from there. And so I was drawing it. I think I drew Pitt.
Yeah, I saw Pitt. You were doing Pitt last week.
And people in the chat asked me, hey, can we buy the original after? And I went, oh, it's digital. I'm doing digital. I didn't even think of doing it traditionally. I didn't realize it.
Oh, that'd be sick, dude. I think I know people would buy those. Like, even if they didn't at the end of the stream, they'll buy them like on those art auctions. You know what I mean? That EVS does, sporadically.
Yeah. I think he does them like quarterly.
Or you can put them on your campaign, dude. You know what I mean?
Matt, you need to get him to do a BUTCH CLEAVER.
Yeah, I got a character.
Really cool one.
Yeah, every Sunday I'm going to be drawing exclusively CG characters. So any CG character you've got, just
I'm going to drop them in there. List. Maybe I'll get lucky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, eventually I'm going to go through the whole list. So everybody's going to get drawn.
Sick, dude. That's dope.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll be doing it every Sunday. So. Yeah.
Well, it's 318. All right, and we got 311 backers. All right, we're almost to 20K.
Oh.
So if you haven't backed this book, get in here, back it. Get on the ground floor of Dragonrage. This thing's going to be freaking big. You guys want to get this book now. So come over and check it out, guys. I have the link pinned in the chat at the top. So go check it out. And
you want to be able to say that you were here for this day one.
Day one, dude.
Thanks. Yeah, everyone that that is on CG Kings with me, they look at my campaign, they go, dude, your campaign deserves more. Like it should be doing better.
She had 100K.
That's
like, you know what I mean? It has everything that, you know what I mean? Everything that should be there. Like
it has that potential. If it got like
all the clicks,
right push behind it. Absolutely.
100%.
I'm okay with the slow build. I think I could have gotten a fast burn, but if I start at the top, then it's like, where do I go from there? And
it's a marathon. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah. So I'm okay with, I'm very confident in the project. I know people are going to like it. I know they're going to come back, want more. And I keep telling people, if you don't back this campaign, the one lesson learned will be not that, I mean, the one thing I think the backers who do back it will really be proud of and appreciate is the fact that I'm not going to offer these covers again. There will be a catch up. You can get issue 1 and issue 2 in my next campaign, but it'll be a reprint and it'll be a different cover.
Yeah.
So that way, those that did come in and back it go, hey, you know what I mean? I'm glad I backed it because I got those unique covers that aren't offered again.
To appreciate, it's appreciation for the collectability, dude, and the first backers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's for backers who invest in me, I got your back. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna deliver the best product, and I'm gonna keep unique things to those campaigns for those backers.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. I know it's gonna be keep blowing up. I got one more. I got a question to ask you. What's your favorite movie?
Ooh, man, whenever I'm a big movie buff. I watch movies over and over and over and over again. I guess if I had to have a favorite movie that I can put on and always watch over and over again, like I like Galaxy Quest. You know, I think
that movie's hilarious.
Yeah, I love it. It's a at the time I was into Star Wars and I didn't like Star Trek, but now I've watched all the Star Trek movies now, so I it's even funnier now. But yeah, I love all that stuff. But man, to be honest, oh god, I could go through a list. Like
it's hard, right?
Yeah.
What's your top 3 then?
Oh, so Galaxy Quest would be Empire Strikes Back, Ghostbusters, and Big Trouble in Little China. Like I could watch that over and over again.
It never gets old, right?
Yeah,
Big Trouble. I love that movie, man.
If I didn't pick Galaxy Quest, but you meant 3 including Galaxy Quest, and they're not 3 and Galaxy Quest. Oh yeah. Galaxy Quest. I mean, I can just put it on, just like watch it, and I crack up, man. That stuff makes me laugh.
What would you like? They're thinking about remaking Big Trouble in Little China. I think The Rock was going to redo it. I don't think you could really remake that movie. I don't think I would want that one remade. Right? It's cool. Like, what are you going to remake it in the 80s, like in Chinatown, San Francisco? Like, I don't like why. Like, there's really no point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and some of the joke and the humor that's in it, where he's like, these 2 gangs, the Wang Cheese and the Chen Hua. He gets the name totally wrong, and they wouldn't let him do that joke today. They would go, "Oh, well, that's not appropriate now to make that joke," because the guy tells them what their names are in Chinese, and then he repeats it back totally wrong. But I'm sure they would go, "Oh, that's offensive," wouldn't let him make that joke. Kurt Russell was hilarious in it.
Dehumanize everything and make it very robotic and very unstimulating and just horrible, man. I watch that movie all the time. Good old Jack Burton. I even collected some of the comic books too. They made Carpenter made with Eric Powell. They were pretty fun. He Goes to Hell and on the Pork Chop Express and
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun book. Like I would buy anything like in media that continue the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been trying to find a T-shirt that says the Pork Chop Express with the logo that he had on the side of his tractor trailer.
They got the white beaters,
Oh, they do.
They got them online. You got to look for them. A bunch of they're dope.
We've been trying to find those. There's a media store here in town, and we go there, and they have had them every now and then. They're like, yeah, we get them back in, but I haven't been able to get them. And my wife and I, we're very fortunate enough to have a little home theater, and inside there we have movie posters along the wall, and she picked the movie posters, and she picked Ghostbusters, the original Nightmare on Elm Street with the Johnny Depp was in it. Yeah. And I'm trying to blank. There's a whole bunch of movies that we have. Plus, I have the Star Wars one from the Japanese.
Star Wars back there. Japanese posters are the bomb. I love those.
Yeah, and I love those movie posters. Oh, God, there's another one. Oh, Suicide Squad. She has because she likes Harley Quinn. She likes Harley Quinn and Margot Robbie.
My kid loves Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with that. Me and Brian, Brian does a show every he does 2 shows, but he has a horror movie club we do every Saturday. In a couple minutes, we do at 8:00. So we'll pick a movie that's free, that's not behind a paywall, and talk about it. It's pretty fun. Maybe you can come on sometime.
Yeah. My wife Anna, the one that was sitting here behind me, she likes to. There's a lot of these movies. She watches Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
Yeah,
the original one. Yeah, she's into all that stuff. Me, I'm not that big into horror. As much.
You're still welcome. You can still come on.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Bring your lady with you. She'll pick the movie.
Yeah, she'll appreciate it more than I do.
But I got one more question for you. What was that, Brian?
No, I was going to say one of the things I always do is I always go looking for posters, right? And poster art. And boy, like for tonight's movie, City of the Living Dead, I found some.
And me, I don't like Brian. He's like the horror aficionado. Like he knows all the OG, like the Italian films, like a lot of like the Hammer stuff that I never watched because I'm was more mainstream brought up, but I loved horror. And I'm always learning new things. We're watching free movies that aren't behind a paywall. He does the same thing too with Westerns too on Monday nights too. So,
dude, I love Westerns. Yeah, I grew up with a lot of spaghetti Western. And,
so it's a spaghetti Western jamboree.
Yeah, on Monday. So we just started doing that, and dude, check them out. And I got one more question for you, Jimmy. What's your favorite beer?
Oh, I don't drink.
Okay. What do you drink then?
Well, right now, I guess I could say beer because this is non-alcoholic.
Nice. Okay, Gosling's Diet Ginger Beer. Yeah, because I
Diet
always ask
ginger
people
beer,
if they don't drink,
non-alcoholic.
they're drinking something. Like then they're 90% of the time they're not just drinking water. So I always get.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
I've seen a Guinness, like because I'm drinking some Guinness because I had corned beef and cabbage yesterday. We go hard. Like Patrick's Day is my favorite holiday.
Yeah.
So they had the draft non-alcoholic. I was like, oh, if I ever decided not to drink anymore, I could go with that. You know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, a lot of people are so surprised when I hang out with a couple of, especially comic artists, and we talk, and I go, "I've never done drugs and I've never drank," and they go, "Why? What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Well, it was by choice, but then I mean now I'm a heart failure patient and I'm diabetic, so I can't do any of that stuff. But even before that ever happened, I was never into any of that stuff, and people just go, they're shocked. They're like, no.
That's good. You got like a guardian angel there the whole time, maybe leading you in the right direction from the get, you know? That's the way I would say it, you know what I mean? But I mean, other people could say it other ways.
But also, like, a lot of the most creative people are like teetotalers. Like, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Like H.P. Lovecraft didn't drink. David Cronenberg said he was drunk once. He just like waited for the feeling to go away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
a lot of people like that.
That's like, well, I should. I mean, I do drink wine. That is alcohol. So I do have wine every now and then. Mostly my wife will drink wine, but I will drink it, you know, here and there. But yeah, I do like a little bit of wine. But yeah, a lot of things. I think. I mean, I think I'm already pretty eccentric and pretty out there. You know, at times I love to goof off and joke around. I don't know if I would be even weirder, you know. You know, but if I enhance with anything, people would be like, "This dude is just far off the rails," or something.
Wine gets me like a weird buzz. That's why I don't drink it too much. Like the fit that starts with the F that's in wine. I always forget the name of it, but it's good
fermented or something.
Not the fermented, but the I forgot the name of it. I can't pronounce.
I don't know.
Well, red wine's actually good for you if you have like a drink or two a day.
That's the one that that's the one I drink. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really know much about it because I don't really drink it that often. So like, I don't even know how to pick wine or anything.
Phosphorate? I can't pronounce the name. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't know. Anna and I went out on a date a couple of days ago, and we went to this really fancy little Italian restaurant. You know, you gotta get reservations, and they sit you at this little table, and it's got this little light, and you're like kind of off to your own little corner. And they bring out this like wine menu. She's like orders her wine, and they ask me if I want wine. And I'm like, "You got a red one?" Like, I don't know. You know,
some sangria. I like wine. It gives me a crazy buzz though, like because it has like an element in it that beer doesn't, you know. But
yeah.
Oh, sangria, man! Sangria is the bomb. I love that stuff. Yeah. Whenever I go to a Mexican restaurant, gotta have the sangria.
Yeah, sangrias are great. Except the one they brought me was like really bitter, but they're like, it's because the goes with the meat that you're having.
Yeah, it serves
and the pasta because it was an Italian restaurant. I went, okay, you know, I'll just try it, but it was like really bitter. It was dry too. It didn't even feel like liquid going down your throat. It felt like I was it felt like it was just like melted plastic rubbing through the back of your.
I'd be mad too. I hope you didn't pay too much for that.
Yeah, it was a
bottle.
It was really nice. Yeah, it was a pretty penny. It was a really nice little place. We had fun. It was a really nice little blast. It was a real trendy little place, and we then go walk the river walk and stuff like that. We still do little dates and stuff, even though we've been together for almost a decade now.
You have to
doing that.
Yeah,
that's important, man. Maintenance. You know, don't get lazy in your relationships.
No. And then like, you know, we get out and we go for like little walks and picnics and stuff, but it's also to get me out, because if I'll become agoraphobic. If you leave me here in the house and she wasn't around or my dog didn't need to go out, I would stay in my house for days. And when
you gotta get out. You gotta get out. You gotta stretch and kick and yell and get out there and scream and get, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
All that stuff.
So she makes me go out. Like today, right before the stream, she's just like, "You need to get out. Let's go run some errands." And we ended up going to these stores and shopping and walking around. And I was like, man, I come back, I'm just sore. Like I definitely need to exercise more.
Oh, it's good for you. It's especially also good for your head too. You know, I always make sure to go for like a 30-minute walk every day.
Wow, dude, see, that's what I need. I need to be doing that. Like, I just get up and go to the mailbox because, you know, in Texas, our like driveways are really far, and I just go to the mailbox, I come back, and I'm just like, that's it. That's my exercise for the day, you know. So I definitely.
Fellas, I'm sorry. I got a jet. I got to get things ready for the next stream. Jimmy,
oh yeah, for sure.
Pleasure meeting you, sir.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you and your lady. And you are whipping much ass, brother. And hoping that you hit that that 20K tonight.
Oh man, it'd be awesome. Yeah.
All right. Peace. I'll see you soon, Matt.
Thanks, Brian.
Well, I guess it's been about an hour or so, and I'm about to head over there with Brian, grab a brewski real quick, and
yeah.
Thanks for coming. Hopefully you'll come back again for Dragonrage Book 2. I'd love to have you on again.
Oh yeah. Definitely, and as well. I mean, whenever you're campaigning as well, I'd love to learn more about your book.
Oh,
maybe have you over or something, and on my
Butch
channel.
CLEAVER.
Butch CLEAVER. That'd be awesome. And then maybe when I get to the point where I start drawing him on my live stream, maybe we'll have you on there, talk about him, and as I'm drawing him or something.
That'd be sick, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
Hell yeah, I'm honored. I was gonna say too. Also, where can people find you?
Yeah, at Jimmy Reyes Art on everything here, all social media. It's all uniformed right there, and I also have a website, jimmyreyesart.com. So, that's my business name and everything. So you guys can find me pretty much anywhere there through that. Yeah.
Hell yeah, you guys hear that? You can find them there. Thanks everybody for watching. Go back Dragonrage. Let's get that baby to 20K. Always remember to be bold, be brave, and roll the bones to know your role. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.